Is this palatability an intrinsic flaw with like a paleo diet? Because not only did they not have a choice, but like you said, that was the availability. There was not the stimulus. So to your point, 3 aisles of chips. I wonder, if a hunter-gatherer could have a Snickers bar on him while he was chasing, a gazelle or something like that, I would think he would.
He would eat it.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I would say you mean the Paleolithic actual diet or the paleo diet TM as expressed recently?
Yes, like I'm trying to sell you something.
Yes. So actually I think it's not a flaw in the paleo diet in the direct sense, though it is a flaw in another sense. In the direct sense, it's a feature, a benefit, a feature, not a bug, of the paleo diet, because the paleo diet restricts you away from most very tasty foods. And if you just do paleo, same applies to keto, same applies to carnivore, the same used to apply to veganism back in up to the late 1990s. Because so few people were vegan that they would just basically get whole ingredients and make their own food. And look, most people just don't cook that well. And how much taste can you make from unprocessed vegan food? And back then, vegans were skinny because you just couldn't get super big eating that stuff.
Right.
And also, you just never went out to eat because how many vegan restaurants were there?
Right.
Nowadays, vegans go to Whole Foods and they have brownies and cookies that are vegan, sausage vegan, everything. And now vegans look a little different, if you know what I mean. Not all of them, but some of them are some girls I'm vegan. And you're like, holy, did you eat a vegan? Is that what you mean?
Why is your voice so deep?
Just vegan food, man. All right, ma'am. But all of these diets basically, and lots of people have success with these diets. Like Joe Rogan always talks about how great the carnivore-esque approach is. There's anything magical about eating elk or whatever. There's just only so much elk steak you can eat until you're like, I'm good. Whereas pizza has a much higher limit. And so what I would say is if you can stick to these diets, and as you stick to these diets, they're easier to pull off because you're not fighting this ravenous palatability monster. I would say it's also the biggest knock against a traditional calorie counting diet, which is barely a diet. Because people will ask me sometimes, I go on podcasts and be like, calorie balance, that's not a thing anymore, right? Kaiko's a myth. And I'm like, it's absolutely thermodynamically never been violated and never will. It's exactly true 100%, but it's also not a diet. It's like teaching someone how to pick up girls, and you're like, all right, check this out. In and out. That's how it works. Okay. But there's a lot of ways to get to that point and have more fun than less fun. They're like, don't worry about it. That's all you need. In and out. You're like, because the calories tell me nothing except for I have one number to hit. Now, what foods do I eat to hit that number? If I eat healthy foods that fill me up a lot, high protein diet, lots of veggies, mostly unprocessed foods, some protein powders, my God, man, I'm just going to lose 20 pounds just eating food, and I can't even hit my calorie number. It's you're supposed to eat 2,500 a day. And you're like, I'm eating 2,400, and I'm tired of Greek yogurt. I don't want any more Greek yogurt. Put it away. That's one of my tests for myself. On weekends, if I'm dieting and I'm high on marijuana, I'd be like, I want more food. I'd be like, all right, Israetel, there's vanilla Greek yogurt in the fridge. And I'm like, I'm just going to go to sleep. Good. So if you do that, great. But if someone just tells you, it's 2,500 calories, can you imagine, Charlie? You and I have been in fitness combined for as long as a human has been alive. We see the matrix so much, we almost can't see human faces and shapes anymore. So we walk into a store, you really have to walk back in your mind. How does a person with no nutritional education see this? Someone says, hey, keep your calories at X, Y, Z. They go to the store. There's a thing, they're hungry, right? Because they're on a diet, and they have a constrained mindset of I'm dieting, and everything seems more appealing. As soon as someone says don't you look at other women, you're like, oh God, there's other women everywhere. And if she didn't say that, you're like, oh, whatever, I don't care. And so as soon as they have that, they go to the store. What do they gravitate to? The good stuff, quote unquote, the tasty stuff. And then you're going to eat you a lot of tasty stuff, and you're going to be like, oh shit, I'm a third of the way through the day, and I'm already at 1,800 calories, and I'm hungry still. That is how calorie balance alone as a diet, and it's not a diet, it's one number. That's how it can steer you wrong. But just really quickly to finish the thought, the thing with the proper scientific approach to dieting, which is to understand the food palatability reward hypothesis, understand caloric constraint, understand macros, and then make food choices that make all of that easy and convenient, mostly whole foods, protein, veggies, etc. if you do that, it's a lifelong skill. You just do different variations of it wherever you go. The problem with keto, paleo, etc., and all these diets that have names is that, are you going to be on this diet forever? And the answer is like, probably not.
No.
And so when you and I, who know calorie balance and all that stuff, go to like Mexico for a vacation and all inclusive, like we know like what to eat. Like, oh, so you guys is there any meats grilling? Is there any seafood? I mean, get some veggies, get some extra dessert.
My wife can't stand it. My wife can't stand it.
Totally right. Like,
she's like, you're fucking insane.
You're
insane
weird.
Human. You're an insane
yes.
human.
No, 100%. It really isn't human. But on the other hand, if you're like a keto guy and you finally like finish your plan, you're really lean, you go to in a cruise or to Mexico for a vacation. I mean, man, what are you going to eat? And the answer is like, it's just a 1 or 0, like code in a computer. 0, I don't eat any food off plan. 1, I just had giant question marks and I'm going ham. I'm eating chips. I'm eating ice cream. And all of a sudden I blow up and get bloated. And some people get so discouraged or they just can't keep ketoing that they end up being like, dude, like I dieted, I lost a bunch of weight, but I just can't keep the weight off. They don't have any kind of fluid ability to alter their diet up and down based on circumstance. They have either the gun goes off or the gun doesn't go off. So it's a tough thing.